Lance by Chance. The untold story of him wrestling as of on Earth. LanceByChance.com.
Fans, welcome back for another week of the 531, where we take your top 5 list on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, debate that top 3 down to a top 1. But before we get down to the heart of the matter, Dave, how you doing today?
I'm great, baby. We're gonna have some fun today. All right.
We've been itching to do this list.
Yeah.
Ever since we talked about SNL the other week. Mm-hmm. We got like a myriad of lists kind of spinning off of that. Oh, yeah. And this week we're going to be talking top SNL movies.
Yeah. Although I think the one we're doing next week, the sketch comedy list, the different sketch comedy groups, I think that got the bigger like excitement. So just a little preview next week.
Isn't that weird that friend of the show, Andy, was hating on it, thinking there wasn't much there? And like that was the one that I feel strongest about because there's a ton of sketch comedy shows that I love. So when Andy's like, I don't think there's enough to really do that, it's like, yeah. Oh, no, there's a ton out there.
Yeah. Turns out there was, and a lot of people. Yeah, I think we'll get to that next week. For now, we're doing SNL films, and this one we got mixed response in terms of we got lists, but people had some mixed response about it, and I'm excited to read it. So,
and I mean, to be fair, I would say SNL movies might be more limiting than the sketch comedy one because. If you look at the list of SNL movies, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I would say 12.
Yeah.
Like more or less spin-offs. And first list we got for you today, Ben Wilcox. He has Blues Brothers, Blues Brothers, Blues Brothers, Blues Brothers,
Okay, you see, yeah, we're gonna get some lists like that.
And I was gonna say that's probably not the first one we've got like that.
No, I got some stuff like that. I'll start off with Scott. Actually, Scott from Valentine. I'm gonna match you right here. SNL films: Wayne's World, The Blues Brothers, and if anyone says there are actually 5 funny SNL films, they're lying to you and shouldn't be friends with them because they're liars. So.
God damn, Scott's gonna think I'm a liar.
I had to force we come up with 5. Yeah, okay. That was some other stuff that Scott wrote in there. I want to make sure I got everything he said. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? A lot of these SNL films were, I think, trying to ride off the coattails of the name, and there are these great sketches, but great comedy sketches don't necessarily translate to great movies. And we've learned that in things that we love, like we talk about like pro wrestling, pro wrestlers aren't necessarily the greatest scripted actors. We talked about sometimes how they can improv and back in the day are really good, but you hand them a script and they have to memorize lines. Doesn't necessarily work. Just like comedy, I imagine the greatest stand-up comedies aren't going to all be Eddie Murphys and translate to great comedic, actors. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, and even sketch comedians aren't necessarily going to. That is more like their skill is in making that sketch work, and a sketch is a shorter form. Take those characters and put them in a full-length movie. If it's not the right vehicle behind it, it can be a real chore.
Yeah. Now, the next list, great example, like Norm Macdonald, like that was a guy to me, like, he was all right on SNL, but you see Norm Macdonald's movies, he's not the world's greatest actor.
No, I mean, Dirty Work I thought was good, but that was still more or less. It wasn't great.
The writing, it's not like.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a big award winner. Now, the next list I got is Jason Gross from Rockin' Randy's Rockin' Wrestling Group. He's got Coneheads, Wayne's World 2, and Night at the Roxbury was all right.
Okay.
Was okay.
Was okay. We gotta let you know. I'm gonna jump right into Zach here. Zach St. John. He's got Night at the Roxbury, Wayne's World, Ladies Man, Wayne's World 2, and Blues Brothers. I think we're gonna have a lot of Wayne's World on here.
Yeah, Wayne's World and Blues Brothers. I can feel that coming down the pike. Next up, I got a list from Eric Lozier, friend of the show.
Yeah.
He's got Wayne's World 2, The Ladies Man, Coneheads, and Night at the Roxbury.
All right, then we got, I'm going to jump right in here. I'm going to keep matching it. We got Tim Hartford, Night at the Roxbury, Superstar, Coneheads, Wayne's World 1 and 2, Blues Brothers. So he actually had Wayne's World 1 and 2 tied for 2. And he's got the Blues Brothers at number 1. So, yeah, I mean, we're going to see a lot of films here that are just going to repeat itself because...
Yeah, because there's only like 11 movies, and of those, 4 are on the upper level, and then we'll get into a conversation because we had a back and forth in the Rock and Randy's Rock and Wrestling group that kind of discussed this whole little thing. But next up, friend of the show, Jesse from New Hampshire, who by the time this is playing might be in Connecticut for the weekend, coming up at the end of the month. Can't wait to see him.
Not known drug user, Jesse from New Hampshire.
No, he's a father of 2. He's
Too.
about to make it 3 if fucking he can help it.
Good man.
Well, when Jesse's not laying the hammer down, he's bringing us list, and he has Blues Brothers, Wayne's World 2, Night at the Roxbury, and Coneheads. And I realized when this comes out, he will not be in Connecticut because this is coming out the day after we record it.
Right.
And I just woke up, so I didn't even fucking think about
That's
that.
right. So we're talking about Jesse's hammer. All right. So next list we got our very own AJ Strange Brew. That's right.
Oh, he got us a list?
He got us a list. He's got Night at Roxbury, Coneheads, Superstar, Wayne's World, and number 1, the Blues Brothers. And no, not Jacob and Eli, which is a reference to a wrestling tag team in the early 90s for people who don't know. Joe, you might know him better as Ron and Don Harris, 2 fucking hillbillies. One of them had a swastika on his arm. Great stuff. Anyway,
yeah, that's why AJ's not a fan.
Yeah, not those guys.
I worked with a dude once that had a swastika on his arm.
Yeah,
not like a full-in one. It was like an outline that he tried getting filled in.
Mm-hmm. And you reported him, and that was mixed response, I believe.
Oh yeah, I was basically told to let it go, and I was like, "Shit, isn't this the kind of stuff we're supposed to like rally against?"
Yeah.
But the story comes around. He killed himself a few months ago. So.
Well, shit.
Yeah, after he got the tattoo filled in, like, why do you get? If you've had a swastika on your arm for a certain amount of time and then you get it covered up, why would you kill yourself after that? Like, your biggest problem just got taken care of.
Right? Yeah.
Side note, I don't think anybody planned on tuning in for an SNL movies list and got swastika talk, but...
You know, we got to bring out some different stuff here from time to time. This is
R.I.P.
why
Neo.
I think this is why when I talked to Scott from Voluntown about possibly doing the show, he's like, I have to be under another working name.
Oh yeah, we would probably have to give him an avatar too. Like,
yeah, give him an avatar, give him a mask, maybe like a voice changer. I think that's all right. Yeah. All right, is it my turn? I don't remember.
Yeah, it is. Sorry, I got sidetracked on that. Oh no, you finished up with
yeah.
And then we were giving
Brothers,
some
Eli
color
and
on
Jacob Blue, no drug users.
Now, next up, Jason DiAugustino from the Not Another Sports podcast and the Rock and Randy's Rock and Wrestling group. He had Wayne's World, Blues Brothers, Tommy Boy, Dirty Work, and The Ladies Man.
Now,
and this list, what were you going to say?
Don't say anything about Tommy Boy yet, because I'm going to get to that later, too. I got a few Tommy Boys, so.
All right, so you don't want me to put up the you don't want me to go through the conversation that was on Facebook?
I'm going to skip ahead then. I'll read a couple, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, knock out the list that have it, and then I'm going to go into this Facebook discussion.
I don't remember everybody that have it, but basically, my buddy Rob, best friend Rob, wrote down his list, and it was Wayne's World, Tommy Boy, Ladies Man, Superstar, Night at the Roxbury, and Randy, not Oscar, responded with a new list. We'll get to Randy's list later, and he wanted to point out that Tommy Boy was not based on an SNL character, and Rob said it was produced by Lauren Michaels. To which Rob also let Randy know that they would be having pistols at dawn. So that's something they got to work out. It ain't going to be that easy. But anyway, so yes, there was a little bit of debate about that. But it sounds like you had a bigger debate. So let's hear about it.
This was actually a debate between Jason DiAugustino and Albert Bettis, another friend of the group.
And we're going to name names here, all right? You're going to know who the
fuck. Getting government names.
Yeah, we want to know whose fault is this and who's wrong and who's right. So
now, Albert Bettis responded to Jason DiAugustino's list with Tommy Boy and Dirty Work aren't SNL movies. They just have SNL alum. Jason DiAugustino said, yeah, well, a lot of SNL movies suck, so... Albert responded with, that's true. There's only like 10 SNL movies total. The quality starts to drop off after the top two, Wayne's World and Blues Brothers. I'll put Wayne's World 2 third if that tells you anything about the quality. Jason DiAugustino said Wayne's World 2 is pure garbage. Albert Bettis, I wouldn't go that far, but you see what I mean about the quality dropping off after the top two. Jason responded with, I intensely, it says like Wayne's World 2, but I think it's dislike. And that set Albert Bettis off. He said, wait, you intensely dislike Wayne's World 2, but you included the galactic turd known as the ladies' man in your top 5. Ooh. Now, granted, I know I talked about the quality dropping off, but you didn't have to go down to the bottom and pick that movie. Jason DiAugustino's reason was, it was on Comedy Central a lot during my teen years, so I have a fondness for it. That said, I probably haven't watched it in 18 years. And Paul Verschillo chimed in, Blues Brothers and Wayne's World 1 are the only ones that aren't complete garbage. Now, that brings us to Albert Bettis' list, who his comments were, first of all, you do realize there are only about 10 SNL movies, and the quality drops off after the top two.
The first thing he said was, excuse me while I whip this out.
Blues Brothers, Wayne's World 2, Coneheads, and this motherfucker has Stuart Sayers' Family on there. Ooh. And then he finished it up with, what an awful exercise you put us through trying to find 3 more films to go with the first 2. Sorry, which, fair enough, but I think...
I want to apologize to the Bettis family. We're so sorry this happened to you.
Now, if you look at it, Wayne's World and Blues Brothers, those are almost movie classics. I would put Wayne's World 2 in that same kind of echelon. So I don't know if they're all garbage, but like we said, a sketch comedy movie, it's not going to be necessarily the greatest movie. Like, Ladies Man, it's funny enough. I'm not going to call it a great movie, but it's watchable.
Yeah.
You know, and I think things like that happen. I think it's just choice. And, you know, were you a big fan of SNL? Are you a big movie or cinema person? And is kind of like just an hour and a half goofy movie going to put you off?
It was a phase. Well, my next list, we're just going to jump into this. We'll get back to some more chit-chat here. But first-time caller, long-time listener, Chevy gets us a list this week, all right? And he's got Tommy Boy. Has to be. Well, it turns out there was a debate about that, Chevy. But you're definitely not wrong in the quality, though. Tommy Boy would be the best fucking movie on here if it was based on an SNL character. I mean, I think that's...
Now, that's almost more a persona, though, wouldn't you say? Because Chris Farley, David Spade in that movie, they were a big team on SNL, known by a lot of people. And Chris Farley, a lot of his characters had that manic energy. So it's almost like it's like an SNL affiliate movie.
It's a fine line. But interestingly enough, you had the Blues Brothers, and this one hasn't made our list yet. And the Three Amigos, were they SNL characters?
No, I think that also falls in the Tommy Boy area where it's Chevy Chase, Steve Martin, two of the bigger names that had popped up on SNL for a little bit of time.
Okay.
I don't believe it's an SNL character. I'm gonna say.
Well, I'm wondering if
I researched SNL movies and I didn't see it listed on there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at like what do you call it right now? I typed in Three Amigos SNL just to see what comes up. I don't see any. They might have guest starred as the Three Amigos on SNL. I'm not sure. Yeah, regardless, it's a good movie. So, Coneheads and then Wayne's World 1 and 2 he has on there to finish up his list.
Fair enough.
Chevy, man, your first list. You got us talking. Good for you, buddy.
Man, we're gonna have to get that guy on the network.
Oh, he's gonna be on. We're working with him.
Now,
Contract negotiations.
Kenny Culler has a list. He's got Wayne's World 2, Coneheads, and Ladies Man.
It's a good list. It's it's kind of like all those we got.
Yeah.
I got Pat Oates here, professional comedian, guest of the show,
Friend of the show.
Actual professional comedian too. We never had one of those. Actually,
yeah, we got these ham and eggers that come on, these weekend warriors.
But he gave me Blues
AJ,
Brothers,
we love you, brother.
Wayne's World, McGruber, Wayne's World 2, Coneheads. And I said, "Thanks, Pat. That was awesome." He said, "Man, they made some garbage movies."
And isn't it really just trying to capitalize on the success of something that popped off on SNL?
It is.
And I think it's the sketch comedy world doesn't necessarily always translate over to movies.
Right.
Sometimes it's done well.
Yeah.
Like if you saw Kids in the Hall Brain Candy, that's a personal favorite of mine. And those weren't necessarily characters that were in the show, but it's these guys that were character actors that could do multiple parts in the movie. And also Run, Ronnie, Run. That was a product of the Mr. Show with Bob and Dave.
Oh, yeah. That was good. I forgot about that.
Oh, dude. Run, Ronnie, Run. If you haven't seen the movie, it is incredible.
I used to watch Mr. Show and Bob and Dave with best friend Rob. So, yeah, good times on that.
Oh, yeah. We'll be talking about that in a future week with sketch comedy shows. But author Ian Totten brings us a list. He's got Blues Brothers, Ladies Man, Wayne's World. Short and sweet.
Yeah, can't all get top 5. Mike Flynn, though, never disappoints. The Blues Brothers, Night of Roxbury, Wayne's World, MacGruber, The Ladies Man. And that's the thing, as we go through these lists, there's not a lot of, other than people telling us, what movies suck and how hard it is to get a list. We don't have a lot of substance to talk about on these lists, really.
No, and that's why I wanted to include something different. I wanted to include that Facebook conversation. I wanted to bring the list of SNL movies to show you it is kind of a limited list that we're pulling from, but I wouldn't say these are necessarily all as bad as maybe people would say. Jim Bensky brings us a list. He's got Blues Brothers, Wayne's World, Coneheads, Night at the Roxbury, and MacGruber.
All right. How many more lists you got?
I got one last list.
And yourself?
Nope, that's me. I'm the last.
All right. Then I'll read my next couple, and then we'll go to you. Randy Oscar. Here we go. He's got the Blues Brothers, Wayne's World, Night at the Roxbury, Office Space, and Tommy Boy. Randy,
get at us in the comments or let us know on the next live show how Office Space made its way onto the list.
I don't know. That's an SNL film, brother. We love you, Randy, but let me know. We don't know what's going on there. Now, the other Randy, he got us. I think the answer has to be Wayne's World 1 and 2. The rest are garbage. And then after his debate with Rob, he said, I want to amend my list. The Blues Brothers, and then Wayne's World, and then Wayne's World. Yeah, the rest suck. Okay. So that's that. That's from the Randys. And Joe, why don't you read us your list, and I'll take us home.
All right, so I got Wayne's World 2, The Ladies Man, Blues Brothers, And I included Pop Star, which is the Lonely Island film from a couple years ago.
Oh.
And while the characters in the movie might not necessarily be from SNL, well, shit, that's a Tommy Boy situation where those guys.
Right.
See, the Lonely Island was something that was on SNL, and they would do different sketches and things on there. So that's why I included Pop Star.
Hey, to be fair, I kind of want to pick Tommy Boy to win the whole thing, but I think that would not be right. We got Night at the Roxbury. This is my list. Night at the Roxbury, Ladies Man, Superstar. Thought Molly Shannon was underrated, and I enjoyed that little bit she used to do with the armpits and stuff. Also, there's one line in there where she punches like one of the girls who picks on her, like in the boob, and the girl responds with, "Ow, my titty." And I don't know why, but that always made me giggle. So
I think we know why.
and then I added Wayne's World 1 and 2 like everybody else did because I was struggling to find the final two.
Yeah. So I mean, when it comes down to it, it's been said a couple times, and while the Ladies Man has a couple in there, Superstar has a couple in there, it's Wayne's World, it's Wayne's World 2, and it's Blues Brothers that I think made it to the final three.
Yeah, I barely remember any of these movies.
Wayne's World 2, I think, has got to be the first one to be bounced because that first one was just so good. And if you put it up against the Blues Brothers, which, the first two movies were the best, maybe the most fleshed out by the time they made it to the screen. I don't know. Like, if you look at it, Wayne's World came out in 80. Or no, Blues Brothers came out in 1980. Wayne's World came out in 92. And then the movies started flowing after there. Coneheads was 93. Wayne's World 2, 93. It's Pat, 94. Stuart Saves His Family, 95.
Wow.
See, like, I think the first two, it took a while to come out, so they probably had a better kind of way to do it. And then when they realized it was such a franchise, it's like, let's just start pounding out these movies. And you can see they kind of jumped the shark maybe with It's Pat and Stuart Saves His Family.
I'm going to say, so we're down to Wayne's World, the original, and Blues Brothers. Now, I'm correct there, I believe. Blues Brothers has one of the most epic car crash scenes in the movie. Yeah. And I think, since this topic turned out to be such a car crash, train wreck of a situation, that it's only fair that we pick the Blues Brothers as the number one movie.
Yeah, it was really going to be a flip of the coin because, like, I would probably pick Wayne's World just because I love the rock and roll of it. Tia Carrere was in it. Amazing female lead.
Easy.
But
I'm easy to convert here, dude.
We'll give it to Blues Brothers because, like everybody said, it was kind of a tough subject to slog through. And I mean, we made it. We got a bunch of different lists, but guys, you know what the music means. Blues Brothers gets that top spot, and we will talk to you again next week.
Next week.